Hello, listeners. Before we enter the Portico, we have some important ceremonial duties to perform. First, let us pay tribute to the Watcher at the Mountains of Madness, Immortal Mo. For your generous support, we are eternally grateful. This scenario is dedicated to you. Deepest gratitude also to these heralds of the apocalypse who support us at our £10 tier. Elias Johnson, Dave Guerra, Snakebite, Mark Nash, and Mikhail Polachik. Forgive my pronunciation. It's only noon, and yet it has been such a very long day already. To join these truth seekers, don your ceremonial robes and head on over to patreon.com/apocalypse players. And now, pack your bags. We're going on holiday.
Ciao, my name is Niccolo Fabri, and I have a passion for food. I'd like to share it with you on an intimate one-week residential course in the heart of historic Bologna, the best way to experience Italian food and culture while meeting new friends. On my course, you will learn to prepare antipasti, a selection of cured meats and cheeses like Parmigiano Reggiano, pasta, including tagliatelle, and a traditional ragu, just like a nonna used to make. Tasty desserts, including tiramisu, caprese cake, and much more. So join me, Niccolo Fabri, as I welcome you into my kitchen and share with you my passion for cooking and eating delicious home-cooked Italian food. Place is strictly limited. Next course begins on the 20th of May, 1977.
So, you've all signed up to this cookery course. It's not fine dining, it's, authentic Italian home cooking. I think that's what excited you about it. The airport's a little bit outside the city. The historical centre is being really well sort of preserved. But you do circle, and as you come close to Bologna and the plane sort of tilts and you get your first view of it, and finally you understand why it's got its name. La Rosa, because it's just strikingly red as you come over, just this medieval patchwork of brick and tile. And then the plane banks back out and you come down to land. And as you pick up your baggage and you come through, there's someone waiting with a sign saying, guests of Niccolo Fabri. And you gather around. So who is it arriving on the plane and meeting this guy at the airport?
Sharon Clifford. I'm from Stevenage, back in the UK, about 40 minutes north of London. That was my first time on a plane. It doesn't feel natural to go so high, I'll be honest. Not that I've got anything against birds or anything, but for people to go that high, it didn't feel right. I felt quite panicky in the air, but then I had a gin and a small white wine, and then it was better, and a little snooze actually, and that sorted me out. And then as we came in to land, the plane kept tipping, which I didn't like. I didn't like the tipping. It made me feel very peculiar and slightly sick. But I did get a lovely look out of the window at the city below, and when Martin, that's my son, when Martin suggested that I should go to Italy and do some cooking because I like lasagna, he said Bologna's called La Rosso. I thought that was because of it was a town built by someone called Ross, but then he said it means red in Italian, and I went, oh well, there we are, you learn something every day. And actually out the window you can see it in the buildings. And when I thought that, I thought, you got to pull your socks up, Sharon girl. This is a whole new world. You can't be weak and watery about this. You've got to just get on and get down. So I'm a bit excited. I don't really know what to expect, but feeling a little bit sick and a bit excited, yeah.
And the man with the sign says, "Si, Si lasagna, si. Pronto.
Yeah, lasagna, yeah. He's very handsome.
Clearly didn't understand a word of what you just said.
No, he's very handsome, though. He's very handsome.
Si. And he's looking around to see who else there is. And sure enough, a couple of women turn up, an older woman and a younger woman. And they say, the older woman says, "Oh, are you here for the course? You must be here for the course. We're so excited. My name is Barbara. This is my daughter, Crystal."
Are you American?
Yeah, sure we are. Yeah.
Oh, I've never met an American in real life before.
We're from Arizona.
I don't know where that is, but I'm so excited to meet you. This is like being in a movie. This is magic.
Isn't it just? And Crystal sort of smiles and says, "Hi." And you realise at that moment that she's blind. You can tell by looking at her eyes. They have this sort of misty look. And she says, "You have a beautiful aura."
Oh, what's that, dear?
Oh, Crystal has second sight.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well, that's lovely. Is it like a spirit aura? Is it like your spirit?
Oh, not everyone has it as clearly and as beautiful as you do.
Oh, thank you so much. What a lovely thing to say.
I can tell you're a good person. I'm sorry you're so sad.
Oh, thank you. Oh dear, I feel a bit emotional. That's very kind.
And at that moment, a man turns up, and he is...
A man comes through, he's looking around. He's diminutive, which means he's my height. He looks even shorter because he's wearing a wide-brim black fedora hat, little dark sunglasses, little circular dark sunglasses, and a long, almost floor-length black coat. And he's wearing black leather gloves and carrying a bag, like a big, chunky briefcase, and sort of has to sort of waddle because it's obviously heavy. What time of year is it?
It's May. It is May 20th. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's sweating buckets. He's sweating buckets. And just as he's coming, he sort of sees the sign and waves. "Buongiorno," he says. "Buongiorno." And then just as he does, a little girl in a red hooded Mac runs in front of him and he goes, "Oh, well, watch where you're going." Goodness me, running in the airports. "Molto bene. You must be the man from the course. Is this the right place?"
"Buonasera," he says.
"Buenos Aires?"
And he looks around and he counts and he says, "Pronto," and he starts walking away and beckoning you.
Oh, I think we got to go with him.
Beckoning you towards his cab. He sort of helps the ladies with the bags as much as he can, throws a few of them on a trolley.
"Right, avanti."
Oh, what, he?
And takes you all to his cab, throws the bags in the back of the cab, and...
Well, careful with that.
Wordlessly...
Does he try and take my briefcase?
No, he's being the total gentleman to the ladies and completely ignoring you.
Good.
And you all get in his taxi and set off towards the city. Meanwhile, the train is just pulling into Bologna Central Station, and those on the train get a view of the hillside with the famous Basilica di San Luca on it. You pull up and you can see, even from the train, the sort of snaking portico that winds down from the hill into the city. And then you pull up in this big, relatively modern station just outside town and get off the train, work your way through the station, and right outside the station is a man holding a sign that says, "Guest of Niccolo Fabri."
Hello. Yes, I think you're looking for me. Sono, uomo de, cucina, yes.
Ciao, you must be Nicholas De Vere.
De Vere.
You're Nicholas.
Mr. Chow. Yes, that's my name, yes.
I could tell, you look like a Nicholas. I'm Niccolo. Niccolo.
Oh, charmed, Niccolo.
Oh, thank you so much for coming.
You're very handsome. How old are you, Niccolo?
Oh, very soon to be asking my age, but...
Sorry.
If I say I'm in my early 40s, is that enough for you?
Goodness me, you must give me the name of your chiropractor and your dentist.
Oh, you look fantastic as well. You Englishmen are always so proper dressed. Look at your blazer. You look fantastic.
Thank you. It is a little hot for a cravat, but I always do wear one. And these bell-bottom jeans, they're white, and that was a mistake. But we can forget about that. Always carry a jacket, Niccolo. I see you have one there.
You look tremendous. I'm so pleased you could make it. I know a lot of people. I know what the papers are saying about Italy and in this moment. You come in a difficult moment, but don't worry. It's all talk. It's most of the time it's completely safe here. You're going to have a wonderful time. Believe me.
Oh, I can't wait.
Thank you so much. Are we waiting for just a couple? Here they are. I think these are them. And up walks a very attractive young couple, maybe in their sort of late 20s. The man has a perm and a big moustache, and he wears a sort of check blazer.
Kevin Keegan.
And the woman with him has kind of wavy blonde hair. Both of them have perfect skin, perfect teeth, and they're smiling. And he says, "You must be don't tell me. It's Don and Julia, right? Mr. and Mrs. Benson. Welcome. This is everyone. You have more luggage? Oh, hi. Hi. You must be Niccolo. It's great to be here. No, it's just these bags.
Was it Don and Julia?
That's right, Don.
Hello. I'm Nicholas. It was very confusing.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get that straight. Yeah.
But I'm never Nick.
Sure. Okay. I'm Don.
Don, how charming.
This is Julia.
Good Lord, where did you steal Julia from? Julia, what a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, hello. Pleasure to meet you.
Can I just say that your skin is almost as perfect as your husband's?
What a charmer. You remind me of my old professor. Oh, I mean, I didn't mean to...
Oh, did you read? Where? Cambridge?
Yes, actually, I did.
Oh, how funny. I'm from Cambridge. My family.
Oh, what a coincidence.
You must tell me more. Don won't mind. He's terribly jealous already, I can tell that, but that's just because of Niccolo.
I'm going to have to do some more research.
Come on, then. Who's taking my bag? I thrust my biggest bag into Don's hand and say, I'm an old man, can't you tell?
Oh, of course. My pleasure, Nicholas.
And I offer my arm to Julia.
Between you get the bags in the back of the car, and Niccolo appears to be like a completely energetic, mercurial sort of character, begins chatting straight away enthusiastically about his city. And then he sort of goes quiet as the car sort of grinds to a halt, and he winds down the window, and you realize there's some sort of commotion or demonstration on the street that he was intending to go down. He mutters something in Italian, tuts, and says, "Don't worry, it's just it's a prima linea. We explain later, but it's a small demonstration. You don't need to worry about it. I take a different route round." And he does, and he turns and makes his way down another street. But you can see him sort of looking in his rearview mirror, and you hear a couple of sort of bangs that might be not bombs or anything or gunshots, but maybe bangers. And you realise there's quite a few sort of police running in that direction. And he's sort of checking his watch.
I lean over to Don and I say, probably P-38s.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
The pistols, you know.
Who knows? Yeah, there's a lot of politics in this city at the moment. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. So tell me about it. My editor loves it. Can't get enough. I mean, he's a total arse. Or what would you... I suppose you'd say ass, wouldn't you? Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah, I guess I would.
What do you do, Don? What do you do?
Well...
Wait, no, let me guess. Are you a ceramicist?
Not quite, but...
Oh.
It's archaeology...
Oh, really?
And a bit of restoration work, yeah, but not specifically ceramics.
Oh, how absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, we've been touring around looking for a place that we might be able to do some work on, you know.
Is that your line too, Julia, darling?
Oh, no, I'm really just here for the ride.
Oh, for the ride.
Oh.
Somebody's got a P-38 in their pocket, eh, Dan? Eh? Sorry, Don.
Apocalypse Players present Il Portico di San Luca, a Call of Cthulhu Scenario by Dan Wheeler, with Dominic Allen as Robert Hyde, retired chemist, Joseph Chance as Nicholas de Vere, theatre critic, perennial guest star Jeany Spark as Sharon Clifford, widowed housewife, and Dan Wheeler as your keeper of arcane lore. Part 1. Don't cook now.
Anyway, he drives on and pulls up at the house. The car pulls up kind of round the back of this house, and you all get out, and he says, I'll just be back. I need to park just around the corner. And he drives off, and you have just sort of a minute standing outside, really, before he returns.
Cigarette? I light a cigarette flamboyantly. I've got silver fox hair, slightly too long at the back. Long, lean. I do a lot of swimming and a lot of yoga.
He makes his way back, and he says, please, come in. And he lets you into the sort of lobby of his house, and you'd seen some pictures in the brochure of your rooms, and you could tell it was going to be quite, luxurious and commodious, but the downstairs actually is a bit run down. Have I used the wrong word? Are you sniggering because I used the wrong word, or because you spilt drink?
No, because I've got a drinking problem, and I just threw the end of my martini on me.
Ole! Oh no, that's Spanish. Oh no.
I got excited. I'm in Italy. It's like being on holiday, guys. I love it.
I should tell you what time it is. It's sort of early evening. And he says, Please, let me show you to your rooms and then come down and make you a spritz or a glass of wine or whatever you would like. He takes you up and he shows you to your rooms, and you all have rooms on the top floor, and he says, downstairs, I live downstairs. My mother is downstairs as well. We may not see her tonight. She hasn't been very well. But she'll be okay. You maybe see her tomorrow. But please, make yourself at home. And maybe you could all just roll me a d6 to see which rooms you get, and I'll just sort of allocate them.
3 for Sharon. 6.
Oh, there seems to be some kind of mix-up. I'm in 3 too.
Oh, are we sharing?
Who's got the highest luck out of you two?
I think actually me, technically. I think I'm on 50. You were a bit unlucky with your luck. I'm sorry. I
45.
Not as unlucky as me.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Okay, fine. So, Robert Hyde has given the room overlooking the Piazza di San Stefano, which is this lovely old piazza. It's not sort of a major busy square. One of the buildings that looks onto it is one of the oldest churches in the whole of Bologna, and it looks it. It's a really lovely view. And then just sort of across from your window, you have like a colonnade or a portico with a few little cafes. You can see people just setting up for dinner, but it's far enough across. It's a wide enough piazza that you don't imagine that noise will disturb you. Nicholas, you have a room just sort of on the corner. And from your window, just in the distance, you can see the 2 towers, the famous Due Torre of Bologna, which are both leaning, one which is the shorter of which is leaning quite alarmingly towards the taller one. And you can see across the rooftops, and you have just a little view of the Basilica di San Petronio, which is the biggest church in Bologna. So you've got a lovely view. Sharon, your room is fine. You have a little window overlooking the street.
Okay.
But it's sort of it's kind of closer to the stairs. It's not a stunning view, but it's still a very lovely room. All these rooms.
It's cosy.
It is a bit cozier than the other two.
Yeah. I wouldn't like looking out over a big square like that. I feel a bit overlooked. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit too much. It's nice to have a little place of your own that you can come back to and have a recharge at the end of the day.
So I should have said by this point the taxi's turned up and Robert has arrived, but I think you haven't bumped into each other because you've all been making yourselves at home in your rooms. And then your other 4 guests who are there with you, Don and Julia obviously are sharing a room. Barbara and Crystal are sharing a room. So there are 5 guest rooms altogether. And then one by one you make your way downstairs for an aperitif before dinner, which is about to be served. Who's quick downstairs? Who's going to be down first?
Probably me.
Great.
I think I come down to smoke. And so I start just smoking in the kitchen at the table, wherever the table is.
You find Niccolo there. There is a kitchen, and then there's like a sort of big open, kind of like an internal courtyard, really.
Oh, lovely.
Where there's a dining table.
Oh, yeah.
And Niccolo says, "Oh, welcome. You must be Robert."
Yes, that's right. Yes, Robert. Yes. Hello. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming.
You must be Niccolo.
Niccolo, that's right.
Lovely.
It's my pleasure to have you with me. It's such a privilege to have such wonderful people. I especially like it. I have to say, don't tell too many people, but I love it. I love having British people here.
Oh, well.
Americans are often very brash and they don't really... they're keen to learn, but they don't really have the taste that the British have.
Oh, yeah, they're loud people. They're big flavours, big buildings.
They absolutely, and don't get me wrong, I like them very much, but for this cookery course, I particularly enjoy teaching English.
Oh, I can imagine.
Anyway, what would you like to drink?
I've had an American pasta dish before.
Oh.
And though it was strong flavours, yes, but none of the delicateness that I imagine we're going to experience this week.
Well, we have their delicate flavours, but also some very robust flavours as well. I'm really looking forward to it. Well, tonight I will share with you my family recipe, and then tomorrow we will learn how to cook it.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Molto bene.
Very good. You speak Italian?
No, not really. I've learned buongiorno, molto bene, and avanti. I know that one as well.
Right.
To go, right? Is that let's go?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, right.
But
well, your English is very good.
Thank you very much.
Very convincing.
Welcome. May I get you a drink?
Oh, yes, please. I would.
Campari soda? Or?
Oh, well, unless you've got something dark and red, strong and red.
No.
Like I like my women.
Communist.
Of course, I could get you you mean a glass of wine, I assume?
Ah, see. There's another one. There you go.
You never know when someone asks for a glass of something dark and red.
Well, I'm not a vampire.
Oh, no, we've all been reading our horror fiction, clearly.
Well, I may be dressed like one, but yes, no, I just have I have a very delicate skin condition.
Oh,
so I think it's best to wrap up. I know it's warm, but you can't be too careful.
No, I get you a glass of something very nice.
Oh, thank you.
He opens a bottle and pours you a glass of lovely red wine.
Oh, this is lovely. Charming.
By this point, I think Don and Julia are down. Hi, Don. Pleased to meet you.
Oh, my pleasure. Robert Hyde, hello.
This is my wife, Julia.
Julia, charmed, I'm sure.
Hello.
Oh, you're English?
Yes, I am, yes.
So what's the story there?
Oh, it's a long story. Maybe we can... Maybe we can tell you over the next couple of days. Well, a week. We're all going to be here for a week, aren't we? How exciting.
Yes, I'm sure we'll get to know an awful lot about each other. Be sick of each other by the end.
Who makes their way downstairs next?
I'm telling you, this is a bloody awful book. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I was reading this, picked up in the airport. Stephen King. Awful, absolutely gripping, can't put it down.
What's it about?
180 pages in. It's called Shining. The Shining. Brand new.
Lovely.
Rubbish. Complete rubbish. Unputdownable. Hello, I'm Nicholas. We met, didn't we? Gosh, these two are so lovely looking, aren't they?
Very nice.
Too kind.
Youth. Wasted on the young. Wasted. DeVere. Mr. DeVere, you are... And I extend my long hand to the diminutive gentleman.
I take it in my gloved hand and say, Robert Hyde, pleasure to meet you. Yes, you can call me Bob, if you like, or Rob.
Bob, lovely to meet you. Never call me Nick. Not if you don't want to get on the wrong side of me.
Okay, Nicky.
Sharon arrives downstairs maybe at this moment.
Oh, hello, am I in the right place? Oh, yes, I remember you, yes. Oh, hello.
Sharon.
Yes.
Sharon Clifford, correct? May I call you Sharon or Mrs. Clifford?
Oh, no, please call me Sharon, please do. That's quite all right.
It is an absolute pleasure to have you here. I cannot tell you how pleased I am to have all of you. It's so exciting. We've been running this course for not very long now, and it's been a real success, but it would just get to the point where... Anyway, I'm talking too much. Come through. We can... I think we will start. With the others can join us when they're ready.
All right, okay.
And he sort of leads you to your seats around the table and says, "Let me bring something for you to snack on before I bring the pasta." And he sort of rustles off into the kitchen, and you sit down around the table. And would you mind if Jeany and Dom, could you just pop your headphones off for a second?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Nicholas, when Robert shook your hand, he was very, very familiar. You can't place him, but you know you've met him somewhere before, but he appeared not to know you.
I never forget a face.
No.
Names, yes, a lot, but I do have a notebook full of names. So I might get my notebook out surreptitiously.
Sure.
But I think also, if it's all right with you, there's also been a moment as Sharon has entered the room where I think maybe I was still pumping his hand as that was happening and thinking, do I know you? Have I met you? And it was enough to sort of separate me slightly from this world into a slightly more susceptible world for something strange and numinous. And as Sharon walked in, I felt a connectivity between the three of us.
Interesting.
That I can't explain.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's connected, but I definitely don't know her. She's totally new to me.
Yep.
But him, he's a curious... Do I get to sort of rack my brains for an idea check, or do I...
I think maybe you are doing that at this moment when I get them to put their headphones back on, and maybe you are racking your brains, and then maybe we'll have another little...
As we're sort of going through to the room, maybe for dinner.
Yeah, and we'll have another little check-in in a minute, perhaps.
No, lovely.
Great, so you're all sort of sat there, and Niccolo comes back out with a plate of lovely cold meats and some cheese and a little salad. And he says, "Please, Antipasti. I'm sure you know a lot about Italian cooking already. I don't... forgive me."
Is that provolone?
No, it's not provolone, but I'm sure you know a lot. But this is how we always begin a meal, with this antipasti. So enjoy, eat what you want. Don't eat too much, because we will have a pasta course. Sometimes we have a meat course. Again, I'm talking too much. I'm so excited to see you all. Please, enjoy. I'll be back in the kitchen. I need to work on the pasta. And he rustles out again, leaving you with this lovely meal. And the other couple come downstairs at this point, Barbara and Crystal. So Barbara is a woman in her, maybe in her 50s, early 50s. She's sort of quite like, well dressed. She's not sort of glamorous, but she's quite prim. And then Crystal she looks like she's probably about 18. You can tell from her eyes and by the way she moves that she's blind. And she has a sort of very peaceful kind of air to her. She seems, from what you can tell, like a very sweet girl.
Did you say 18?
She looks to be around 18, yeah. Let me just skip this strange song.
I mean, I was quite enjoying that.
Me too. It was quite trippy. It was good.
The 18-year-old blind Crystal arriving.
Yeah.
Is it obvious on that point? Is it obvious that they're together? Because I hadn't met them, had I? So
no. I think it is. I think Barbara is helping Crystal. Not in a fussy way.
Yeah.
But just sort of telling her to watch her step on the floor and showing her to her seat.
But the relationship isn't 100% clear to me. They could be lovers, they could be mother and daughter, they could be... I think
you would make almost immediate assumption that they're mother and daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously because, I work in theatre, so...
So you never know.
I'm not fazed in the least by any such combination.
You'll have met stage managers.
I don't know why that's funny, but it is. It's funny. It's Dominic. He's just filthily funny sometimes. I don't understand.
You two are just in time. Niccolo just brought out this wonderful spread of antipasto. Come and sit down.
Oh, my dear, what a beautiful accent. My name is Barbara.
Yes, we met at the train station.
Oh, of course. Forgive me, terrible memory.
I think the only person that I've not met here is this gentleman. Hello.
Well, I've not met you, Barbara, and I've not met you, madam.
Hello, I'm Sharon. Nice to meet you.
Hello, Sharon. I'm Nicholas de Vere.
Hello.
And Barbara, charmed, I'm sure. And your companion for the evening?
Crystal. My name is Crystal.
Crystal. Hello, Crystal.
Oh, your poor little dog.
What?
My eyes go wide. My hand flicks to my chest, to the point where my cravat pin is.
Oh, you've gone very pale, Nicholas.
Oh no, Crystal, not now. We're all here. We're all here to just...
But if not now, when?
Sorry, what was that? A dog?
Maybe later.
What's going on? Do you know each other?
His dog.
What about his dog?
You lost your dog.
Tontu. Oh.
He's so happy. I can see him wagging his tail right now.
What?
I think you should sit down, Mr. de Vere. You're looking very pale. And she pulls a chair out and sort of helps him down into the chair.
I yield completely to Sharon's ministrations.
Sorry, excuse me, sorry. I'm a bit confused. Do you know each other?
Oh.
We've never met before.
What?
Barbara says, oh, no, sorry. Crystal, I told you, it's not so soon. Crystal has second sight.
I immediately stand up, knocking my chair backwards as I stand up, and I go, excuse me. Excuse me, please, I need to just... sorry, I just suddenly need the toilet. I'm very old. and I rush into the house. And I say to Niccolo, do you have a lavatory?
Oh, the nicest one is upstairs near your room, but if you're really desperate, you can use the family one down here, but...
No, upstairs is fine. And I run up the stairs, belying my 67 years of age.
Oh dear, that was a bit...
Oh, Crystal, you've really upset the man.
No. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing to do with that.
But you've not upset me, and I'm sure that gentleman isn't really... Oh, my word. My dear girl, darling, you're very impressive. And I'm not tracing any sense of an act or sensing any trace of an act either. Goodness me, my language has failed me. What would Mahoney say at the Scoop?
An act? Of course it's not an act. Why would you think Crystal would put on an act?
No, I'm sorry. I work in show business here, and I reach into... It's the first thing that I've done in the last 2 minutes that has been in any way controlled, but I reach into my pocket and I take out a card and I give it to Sharon. And then I take another one out and I give it to Crystal.
Barbara reaches out.
And then I take it out of Crystal's hand and I give it to...
I was going to say, Barbara takes it from Crystal's hand, rips it in half and puts it in her pocket.
Oh.
And says, I'm sure, thank you very much, Mr. de Vere, but that's not the kind of thing that... Crystal has a gift. It's,
Oh, no, I didn't mean like that. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why don't I buy us something sparkling to make this all feel a little brighter? And that poor gentleman, Mr. What was it?
Mr. Hyde.
Mr. Hyde. Oh, well, gosh, that's a divinity in his name, isn't there? He's hiding away. How terrible. I'm so sorry.
You know, I think we should all sit down and enjoy this lovely food. You know, we've not got off to the best start, but let's start again. Let's have some food. We'll feel better when we've had something to eat, and we'll start again.
I think that's an excellent idea, Mrs. Clifford. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Clifford, yes, Mrs. Clifford.
Oh, you can call me Sharon. That's fine. Please call me Sharon.
Don says, "Yeah, I think we could all just cool it, chill out, and I'm sure there's been a bit of a misunderstanding. I think a lot of this is over my head, but I think maybe a toast to our host. Hey, Niccolo, Mr. Fabry." And Niccolo comes out the kitchen and says, Yes? He says, we'd like you to join us for a drink. Just raise a glass to say thank you for having us here in your beautiful home. I think we're all really thrilled to be here, excited to learn from you. Already I can tell that the food is going to be fantastic.
This sausage is absolutely wonderful.
Oh, yes, that is one of the best, yes. It's my favorite too.
It's lovely. It's very spicy, isn't it? You don't get it spicy like that in Stevenage. I can tell you that for free.
Stevenage, this sounds like a very exotic location you're from.
Well, I'm not sure if exotic is the right word, but we are quite forward-thinking and quite out there, I suppose you'd say. But yeah, you certainly wouldn't get anything like this in the butchers in the old town. I'll tell you that for nothing at all.
No, but you have an old town. That's nice. We are right here in the heart of the old town. Don't you feel that the old town of a city is it is something that is really worth preserving? This is something that, thankfully, our local communist government have worked very, very hard at. They're not perfect, of course. No government is, but they have tried so hard to preserve this city for all the people of Bologna, not, forgive me, but for the tourists, People will always live. Bolognians will always live in the Centro Storico.
Gosh, really, I didn't know that communists were very interested in architecture and preserving.
Well,
that's fascinating. That's wonderful.
Yes, I mean, we could spend all night talking about politics, and perhaps we should not on the first night. I know what your English say, never talk about, what is it, politics or religion?
Yes, well, quite.
Yes, they're the two.
Maybe night 2 we have that discussion, but no, there's a lot going on in the city, and the government are working very hard to preserve these buildings. This is why, of course, that I still live here in my family home, but I'm able to work on it and try to develop it as much as I can to make it a business without changing it too much. My mother has been helping me, but I should.
How is she feeling?
Forgive me. I should really go and check on her.
Yes. She
hasn't been well, but.
Oh.
Give me a moment.
Well, I think I should go and check on Mr. Hyde as well. So.
Yes, could you?
I feel like I put my foot in it there. It's unlike me, and I'm so sorry, ladies, gentlemen, and Maestro. Is that what do we call you, Mr. Fabry?
No, please, just Niccolo.
Niccolo, then, and Niccolo. I'll go and check to see if Mr. Hyde. I feel like I've upset him with my revelation. And I should thank you, Sharon. I'm sure you'll keep everybody happy here. Mrs. Clifford. Does she still wear a wedding ring, out of interest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is Robert still in the bathroom, or is he sort of making his way back down by this point?
So at this moment, we cut to Robert wiping sick and bile out of his moustache.
Oh, dear.
And running at the tap, splashing his face. And with shaking hands, he reaches into his pocket and takes out a couple of Valiums and swallows them down.
Valium count 2.
And I look at myself in the mirror and I say, pull yourself together. Pull yourself together. It's not real, it's not real. It's not real. She's got lucky guessing a dog. She probably smelt it on him or something. They have tricks, these people. They know it's not magic. It's just attention to detail or something like that. They probably mentioned a dog earlier to someone else and they overheard it or something. It can all easily be explained. Pull yourself together. And I retch a couple more times and I go, okay. Yes. All right. You made your point. I'll go easy on the booze. God, you're a difficult travelling partner, I tell you that. and then I start walking downstairs. So I probably run into Nicholas as you're stepping through the door. I'm there. And I'm looking white as a sheet underneath all my accoutrements.
I wonder if you see me. I imagine there's a sort of little window on the stairwell, and those kind of slightly eclectic old buildings. Like they have sort of windows in odd places. Not like a big one, just like a tiny. And I'm looking through it down at the ground, desperate to see if there are any dogs. Are there any?
Say that again. You're looking to see if there are any dogs. I was just checking something.
So I'm on the stairs.
Yeah.
I'm on the stairs, and he's found me sort of really craning my weird long neck, with my slightly too long hair at the back, to see if there's any dogs on the street outside.
Dan was checking his dog location map.
Checking my dog location map.
Yeah, understandable. I mean,
Just trying to work out which side of the building you're on to see whether there are any dogs outside. I think at this moment, no. There are no dogs on the street outside.
He didn't even roll on the random dog table.
You didn't roll on the random dog table.
The random dog table.
The Sino.
Couldn't find my D8.
The Sino D8.
Sinograph.
Sinograph. But so I sort of, and you could catch me, and I look a bit guilty as a result. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry about what happened.
No, I'm sorry.
I was just,
No, it's my fault entirely.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm more sorry.
Of course you are, but...
You did nothing wrong, you did nothing.
I'm sorry that you're so sorry.
Oh, quite all right. Dear boy, dear heart.
Oh, dear man, well...
How are the ladies? I must apologise. And I step...
Perhaps we should return to them.
Yes, indeed. Après-vous.
Ma grazie. And I... sort of do a weird half tango around him, and then I start to go down in front of him, if you pardon the expression.
Gosh.
Different kind of show.
As we get back into the little courtyard, I say, I must apologise for my rapid exit there. I have a bit of a medical condition, and sometimes it strikes very suddenly. I must apologise. Sudden call of nature, but I'm fine, and I do apologise for any consternation or upset I may have caused there. That was not my intention. Please do forgive me. Terribly sorry.
And you make your way back down and sort of arrive back at the table just as Niccolo is clearing away the antipasto and the plates.
I pour myself another big glass of wine. Immediately.
Try this anchovy one. It's absolutely marvellous.
Salty.
And he says, the pasta is ready. I bring it out right now. And as he goes in, you sort of, Nicholas, you give Robert one last look to check that he's okay.
Mm.
And could you give me an idea roll, Nicholas?
Yes, I'd like that. Very much. Oh, it's really bad. It's a 92 to open, guys.
Ouch.
It's not a fumble, but it's...
How's that on your education? How would it be as a no roll?
It's a fail by 8.
Oh, okay. No, it's probably not worth spending your...
On my 84 education. An unlikely gain in education, I found.
But it should really have been a no roll. That's my bad. It should really have been a no roll anyway, so...
Push it.
Well, 75 intelligence, so it wasn't that far off, but 92, I'm not...
Push it.
It's tempting to push it, isn't it? Is it passive, or...?
It's kind of passive at this stage.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think the thing we were talking about, maybe now you really are... Cogs are turning.
Yeah, I think on all that stuff on the stairs, thinking, I've got to keep my eye on this guy. There's something here, and I can't place it. Yeah.
Anyway, Niccolo comes out with a big steaming pot of pasta, and he says, "Tagliatelle alla ragu. This is the dish of Bologna."
Ooh.
And he's got this big broad smile as he starts dishing it out onto everyone's plate. He says, "This is a very old family. My mother, by the way, I checked on her. She will be okay. I think maybe we see her in the morning, but..."
Oh, good.
"She's just not feeling quite herself tonight. But this is an old family recipe that she passed to me, that was passed to her by her mother. And anyway, I really hope you enjoy. Parmigiano as well. Parmesan is here as much as you like." And he dishes it all out into your bowls. And presumably you tuck in.
Oh.
Am I right in thinking you put milk in it, don't you?
This is for tomorrow.
Oh, right, yes, right.
Oh, yes, we're going to cook it tomorrow, aren't we?
Yes, tomorrow I will teach you how to
Yes.
to cook this meal. We make the pasta and the sauce.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my word.
But yes, since you ask, yes, we do put milk into it.
There's milk in it. How marvelous, how marvelous.
Incredible, isn't it?
Lots of different recipes for ragu, but this is the classic Bolognese recipe, and this is how you will call spaghetti Bolognese, right? That's what you have.
Yes, we do, yes.
Yes, but it doesn't smell like this, it doesn't look like this.
No, this is absolutely... I've never tasted anything like this. It's extraordinary. It's wonderful.
No, well, for a start, and he's looks so pleased with himself as you're enjoying.
That's why he likes the English.
Almost hasn't touched his. And he says, for a start, you would have called it spaghetti bolognese. We've never ever served a ragu with a spaghetti. A spaghetti is for a different type of sauce. Normally, like maybe an egg sauce that clings tightly to the ribbons. But with a ragu, you want a thicker pasta, like a tagliatelle or a pappardelle or
Lovely.
anything like that. And of course, we use it in a lasagna as well. It's the same. Well, there are different ragu recipes naturally, but it is the same base, and different meats go into it. And well, we do the recipe tomorrow. You will really enjoy it. What do you think? Do you will enjoy it?
Very much. It's wonderful.
It's exquisite.
Oh, it's delicious.
I've taken a notepad out and I'm making notes quite casually, but it's a definite thing. And I'm using a very expensive pen.
I'm looking, I can't take my eyes off Don because he's so extraordinarily handsome.
He is, yeah.
And even eating with a mouthful of ragu and tomato sauce sort of on his mouth and on his chin, he's got the whitest, straightest teeth I've ever seen.
He does. And you look over and you realise that
Americans.
Crystal and Julia somehow ended up sort of holding hands, and Crystal speaking to Julia very intensely, but seemingly kindly, and Barbara's kind of watching over, and Don is looking at Julia with hungry eyes.
Hungry eyes.
But in a good way. You know, you can tell this couple are very much in love, and their relationship is, by the way he's looking at her and eating his pasta, you think there's quite a lot of passion in that relationship.
It's the 70s, guys. It's the 70s.
Anyway, but they're sort of occupied.
That's disgusting. That is disgusting.
Yeah. They're kind of occupied and leaving...
Don't find that in Stevenage.
Leaving you three to talk to Niccolo if you want. And he says, tell me, what brings you to Bologna? Why did you choose my course? I'd like to know, how I can sell it.
Well, I haven't been to Bologna since the war, you see. And I thought, I might not get many more opportunities. And it seems a shame to have all my memories of Italy be that business. So I thought, well, why not pop over? I know things are a bit tough right now, but, here I am. And
like I say,
it's already an improvement.
Yes. Listen, if you don't mind, I hate to say this, but would you mind not mentioning the war in front of my mother?
Oh, understandable.
Oh, yes, of course.
She was, you know how sometimes the older generation are, she was...
Fascist, was she?
He sighs and he says she was for Mussolini.
Oh, well, lots of people were. I mean, he won an election.
Lots of people were.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly, but this is not my politics.
And there's a reason I got the plane here and not the train. Can't rely on them these days,
No, the trains are good. Tell me, you two... No, you did not get the train, did you?
No, I took the plane. I was on the plane as well.
Nicholas, what did you make of the train?
I don't like to fly, but...
More of a joke, but...
No, the train was... But it's such a delight. Well, we were a little delayed. Yes, we were a little delayed at the border.
Yes, I believe there were some...
There was some security checks at Milan, obviously, and one can't question that.
There's been quite a lot of activism in Milan.
Yes.
I can only apologize. I think...
No, I don't think you should. It's all part of the process, isn't it? I mean, we'd be naive to think it wasn't.
What we are trying to do in Italy today, for some people it can never go fast enough. That's the problem. You understand, you are all, if you excuse me, mature, intelligent people. You understand sometimes the pace of change cannot be as fast as you have to bring people with. So listen, I've done you a favour here by cutting out a very long, boring conversation which is not relevant to the plot. But I know what you're like. If you must hear it, it will be included at the end of the episode.
Well, don't go and see a play here, Don. You'll be exhausted.
Yeah. No, I'm not planning on it. I think I'm going to spend more time looking at the architecture.
Oh, yes, I'd like to know a few of your recommendations.
Oh, well, there's plenty of churches in Bologna, if that's your kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I do love a good church.
Churches are excellent.
Yes.
Sorry, Sharon, what were you going to say, Sharon?
Well, it just sounds fascinating. There's so much culture here, and I'm just very excited to be here and to spend the time in the kitchen with Nicola and all of you, and then to take some time and be in the city as well.
Well, yes, I should talk a little bit about the schedule for the week, if that's all right. And he sort of gets the attention of the people who are not immediately part of the conversation. So tomorrow morning, get up when you're ready, have a coffee, have breakfast, and then we will start the lesson at around 10 o'clock, if that suits. But I can work with whatever works with you, and we may be in the kitchen for 3 hours, and then the afternoon is your own.
Marvellous.
Very good.
I can recommend places to go. I have a lot of my favorite places in Bologna, but perhaps you have reasons to be here and you want to look at particular museums or churches, whatever you choose. And maybe I'll come with you if I'm not busy, but I will have to clean up, especially depending on how my mother is feeling. And then we will do that process throughout the week. The morning will be for the lesson. I don't like to call it a lesson. It's really a sharing, I suppose.
The experience.
The experience. Thank you, Alice.
Yes, that's a very good word.
Just the word.
Very good word to describe. And then the afternoon will be, well, your different experience. The experience that you bring yourself from exploring my beautiful city. And, of course, you are here during the Festa dell'Ascensa, the Feast of the Ascension. You knew this, or?
No, what's that?
So, yesterday, Thursday, was Ascension Day.
Oh, yes.
I think it's in a lot of, right? I think in most countries, Ascension Day is the day in the 6 weeks after Easter, I believe.
I think it's on my calendar at home. I just didn't know what it was. Oh, right.
Yes, and but in Italy we celebrate on the Sunday. So on the Thursday, on Ascension Day, they bring the idol of the Madonna and Child down from the Sanctuario, from the Basilica of San Luca, bring it all the way down the Portico on foot. All the religious orders of the city join the procession, and members of the public. And then for 3 days, the idol sits in the cathedral in Bologna. Before on Sunday, there is a big feast, a festival, and then the Madonna and Child makes its way back up the Portico to San Luca again.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So you might want to see it saves you the visit. This is a great thing. You can see the idol without having to trek up the Portico all the way to San Luca, because it is in a cathedral. So you can see that. If you want to, on Sunday night, you might want to even see the procession or take part in the procession. Normally, I would say, actually, visiting the Portico is a lovely thing to do. But as I say, this weekend, you will get there and no one will be at the Basilica, and the idol is down here in town.
Of course, it looks like a serpent, doesn't it?
Excuse me?
The Portico.
Oh, yes, it curves. Yes, like a snake.
It's confusing, you see, because of course in English it sounds like it's going to be a doorway. But it's a covered walkway, is that correct? Do I have this right?
That's right. Well, we have hundreds of kilometers of porticos, colonnades, you can call them, going through the city. But the longest one in the world is we have here. It's 4 kilometers all the way up to the Basilica.
Good gracious.
What's that in miles?
Miles.
Oh, yes, an excellent question, Sharon.
2.5?
Couple of miles, yeah.
2.5 miles? As much as that?
666 arches all the way up. 666.
Very convenient if it rains.
Did you...
Yes, well, exactly.
666?
Yes.
Well, I raise my eyebrows.
Oh, you're superstitious. The numbers are very important to us. We're not all a religious people anymore, but maybe perhaps the superstitious people, and numbers are important. Yes. And you say it's like a serpent. 666. I understand. You say.
Why is 666 special?
The number of the beast?
What beast?
The devil.
The number of the devil?
Yes, as it happens.
Oh, goodness me.
Just a coincidence, Sharon. Have some more wine.
Yes, I think I will.
And I lean over and I pour some wine into a glass.
Anyway, I am going to have an early night because I need to do a bit of prep in the morning. But please, by all means, I should make sure you all have a key. And he fetches a bunch of keys and gives you all a key to the main door. And says, if you want to go out tonight, then you're welcome to, but perhaps you want to have a quiet night tonight. You've had a long day of traveling, and I see you all bright and early in the morning.
I was going to ask if you recommended something. Could we sit on that balcony there and look at the wonderful view? Is that all right?
Of course. I think each of your rooms has a balcony, or
even better, yes.
But if you want to sit out here, or we have there's a little. You could sit out the front, and basically sort of indicates that the way you came in sort of goes onto the street, and it's kind of like the back door, and then the front door opens onto the piazza, and he has a little, like a little terrace out the front. He says, you're welcome to sit out there. Or
oh, wonderful.
Anyway, welcome to my home. I'm very pleased to I will talk a bit about the history of the house tomorrow, because this is another special thing to me, and I know I'm talking too much, but upstairs, we have already restored your rooms, the bathroom upstairs.
Very nice.
Hopefully you find them very comfortable. Down here, there's a lot of work to do. So maybe don't look around too much downstairs, mainly because I'm embarrassed that it's a bit of a mess. It won't be. In a few years, this will all be as beautiful as upstairs, but we are still uncovering things in the house and
No.
looking into the cellars and finding out what secrets the old home holds.
Marvellous. Wonderful.
But I will say goodnight now. And he does. He sort of takes his leave.
Buonasera.
Kisses the lady's hands and buonasera. And makes his way. He doesn't go upstairs. His room is sort of through a corridor around the back in downstairs.
I lean over to Robert and I say, I think buonanotte is good night, but I think I'd maybe only say that to children or something. I don't know.
Oh, they all speak English, really?
No, of course. Thank God.
I say, Don.
Yeah.
You say into architecture. Do you have a decent map?
Sure. What, of the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. You want to see it now? I can.
Oh, not right now. I just wondered if you had a good one. If I could take a look at it at some point, that would be very helpful for me.
Of course, I'll bring it down to breakfast tomorrow.
Fantastic.
I'd definitely take recommendations on maps. Sharon, do you have one?
I don't have one, no.
No, I'm terribly disorganised about that sort of thing.
I was hoping there might be one here, but yes, I'd be very grateful for any kind of map or information. That would be very helpful.
Barbara says, I think there's a tourist office. I understood that we should all go to the tourist office first thing tomorrow, and they'll be able to give us all the information. This Niccolo guy seems really nice. But I think if we want the proper tour guide, maybe we should get a guide. We could all have a tour and see the proper sites the way it should be shown, not just some guy who happens to live here who knows a bit about the city. Maybe we should all have a formal tour. I might go there and get a map anyway, but I think Crystal and I are gonna call it a night. It's been a long day for us, long flight. So, pleasure to meet you all.
Where were you flying from?
Arizona.
Arizona. Well.
Whereabouts is that? Is that in the middle, or is it on the coast either side?
Do you know, the thing about us Americans is we don't even understand the geography of our own countries.
Oh.
I can't tell you exactly, except that it's roughly in the middle,
Okay.
It's sort of on the left at the bottom.
either side of the Grand Canyon.
That's right.
Very good. Wow. Gosh, the Grand Canyon. That's very exciting.
Very dry, Arizona.
Yes.
And they sort of get up, and she says, "Come on, Crystal, let's turn in." And Crystal turns to you, Nicholas, one more time and says, "Honestly, your dog, he looks so happy, wagging his tail. You don't have to be so sad."
Oh, thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. It does mean the world to me. I'm sorry I think my face might have been sneering earlier. Sorry. And I think if anyone had been looking at me, I was sneering when Barbara was talking.
When this happens, anyone who's paying attention, I'm looking down and gripping the edge of the table. My knuckles have gone white.
Sandra does clock that. Sharon does clock that.
Oh, Sandra!
I don't know.
Hang on a second. She's given a secret name away.
Barbara and Crystal sort of make their way upstairs, and Don takes Julia's hand and gives her a look and says, "I think we're gonna turn in as well. Been a hard day."
Quite right. Yes. Long day. Lots of wonderful churches to look at. I'm hoping to get that recommendation from you, Don.
Sure. Yeah. We'll look over that map in the morning. He says to Robert, and says,
I've a lactating angel to see.
"Oh, yeah. That's top of my list as well. Don't you worry."
Bloody hell.
It's a real thing, It's a real thing. I read about it.
And then he pauses and looks over his shoulder and says, "Mermaid, not angel."
Sorry, mermaid.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, I'm fascinating. Marvellous. Wonderful. A nightcap, you two?
Absolutely.
Yes, I think so.
But, listen, what was that stuff about a dog?
Oh, she's just picked up on something, hasn't she? I don't know what that is.
You've got a dog, right?
Did you have a little dog?
I did. I loved him ever so much. Tontu. Delightful. Absolute a cocker spaniel.
Oh, lovely.
Wait a minute.
Lovely chestnut white.
Wait a minute. I just need... So you had a dog, and she knew about the dog.
She picked up on something, obviously. I don't know what it is.
Right.
And has Tontu passed away?
No, not so long ago, to be honest.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
How long ago?
We must get that nightcap, and then I can tell you all about him.
Yes, we'll get a drink, but how long ago are we talking here?
Oh,
Yesterday?
No, not quite as soon as that. No, it was...
This week?
No, it was 6 weeks ago. If I'm entirely honest, it was part of the reason why I decided to come here. I've been longing to improve my cooking. I'm a terrible cook. But I have some skill. And I thought, well, I must learn how to cook Italian food because it's my favourite. And then I turned to Tontu and I said, and he wasn't there. And it was in that moment, if I'm totally honest with you both.
Oh, no, you don't need to...
Anyway, let's get those drinks and cigarettes. That's what I should say.
Yes, say no more. Say no more.
I put my face in my hands, and I guess it might appear like I'm overcome with emotion at your story.
I do stop.
Mr. Hyde?
The bluster stops.
Mr. Hyde, are you all right? Are you all right?
Yes. Yeah, no, fine. It's just moving. The way you said it, you turned and the dog wasn't there. Very moving.
Look, the truth is, well, I do feel like he's still with me, and I wondered whether she saw my... Oh, look, it's between friends. I feel like there's something about this place, this time, this radical movement that we find ourselves in amongst. You know that someone was shot again only, was it 5 or 6 days ago? I mean, anything could happen in our time here in Italy. And I reach into my, behind my cravat and my somewhat flamboyant... I changed for dinner, of course, but it's basically exactly the same outfit, just different colours. And I take out a little pendant of... Well, it's a small statue of a dog-headed human.
What's that about?
And I say, I think she must have seen this, surely. She must have...
Oh,
sensed somehow. I don't know.
Oh, thank God.
Mr. Hyde?
That's how this stuff works, isn't it?
Wait a minute.
And I tuck it behind, and I look at them, and my eyes are glassy, and I say,
No.
let's get some more Campari or whatever it is.
No, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
What?
She's blind. How did she see it? She's blind.
That's a good point.
That hadn't actually occurred to me.
It's a strange coincidence that the death of your dog should bring you here. I too have been brought here by a death.
Yes, Sharon? Tell me more.
My late husband, Brian, passed away 5 months ago, and I've always wanted to travel. I've always hoped to convince him that travelling would be a good thing to do, but he was never of a mind to do it. But with his passing, I miss him terribly, but it's given me a freedom to experience things that I've not really been able to do up until now.
Right.
I'm surprised that Crystal didn't mention anything about my Brian.
That's right. She didn't, did she?
No, she didn't.
You'd think she would mention that.
No, and I miss him terribly. I would give anything to have him here with me, but...
Good. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that.
So sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. Well, one must keep going. One must start again. And this is all part of starting again. For you, after Tontu, and for me, after Brian. And what brings you here, Mr. Hyde?
I'm retired, you see. And,
Oh.
just a whim, I suppose.
Well, you're broadening the mind, aren't you? Broadening experience.
Yes, well, experience at the end of the day is all we have.
That's very true.
And you can't take it with you, can you? So...
No, you cannot. You cannot.
Best to get as much in while you can.
You can't get views like that everywhere in the world. Let's get on that balcony and drink it in. Come on, I'll steal their bottle of, what's that, brandy? I can't quite see.
Give it a sniff. What does it smell like?
Jack Daniels.
Yeah, that'll do.
I think it's fair to say that you are having this you've made your way out there, and you're now having this conversation on the little terrace with whatever's left in the bottle of wine or something you've picked up on the sort of spirits cabinet kind of thing in the room.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear about both your losses.
You're very kind, dear man.
Is there a Mrs. Hyde back home?
No.
Or a little Tontu Hyde?
No, I'm afraid not, my dear. No, I was never the marrying sort, you see. No.
And what about Italy? Have you been to Italy before?
Yes, he was here in the war. Do you remember?
Oh, yes. Well done, Sharon.
Yes, only for a bit.
That must have been a challenging time.
I tell you what, the Italian campaign was not easy.
No.
Lots of mud.
Yes.
Terrible weather.
Which is surprising, isn't it?
Certainly no ragu alla bolognese, I could tell you that.
I sort of associate that more with Gallipoli or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, well, glad I wasn't there.
No, well, of course. I think we all were. Well, I was out in the Middle East.
Oh, really?
You were too young, of course, Sharon. You were too young.
Yes, I was only a girl, I'm afraid.
And I think if you'll allow me to sort of let the light fade down on this conversation that's maybe getting gradually more inebriated and
less relevant.
Yeah, a lot less relevant.
And you know, but you have a lovely chat, the three of you, and you make your way to your rooms and turn in for the night, and then I might sort of deal with you one by one. First of all, Dom and Jeany, if you could pop your headphones off again for me. Sorry.
Not at all.
Of course.
And maybe you want to give me another no roll, having had that long conversation on the terrace.
Oh, that's better. That is a 0-2. A lot better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it becomes clear.
So, yeah, now it becomes clear. Okay, since it's that good, let me get you a little bit more information than I was planning on giving you.
Well, he was really patient as well. So I was going to thrust forward, but...
So you realize suddenly you're nodding off to sleep, and then there's like there's a bang in the street, and you sit bolt upright in bed, and suddenly it's there. It comes to you. You know exactly where you know that face from.
As I say, P38.
It's Solomon Beckman. He's known as Sol Beckman. He's a notorious London hitman.
I met him in the Coach and Horses, didn't I?
I think you might have met him, yeah. And, you know, everyone knew he was part of the underworld. He'd never been sort of pegged for anything, but they always talked about him as someone who could get things done. And you knew what they meant by that.
It's the sort of circles I used to frequent, you see, when I met one of the Cray's cousins. He wanted to do a play. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And he wanted to buy my good review. And I said, of course you can. Of course you can. You don't need to pay me anything. I was terrified. But he told me a lot of stories, and that's when he came in. Coach and Horses. It was back in, it would have been back in 68.
Yeah, probably. And as you sit there in bed and you're hearing, after that little bang, you're hearing some sirens and police yelling outside. And you're like, more comes back to you about this man, and you're like, he was known for poisonings and subtle stabbings. He was known for making things look like an accident.
But he had an MO. Yeah.
And you know he'd work for anyone. You know, he had no allegiances. He had no political leanings. He didn't work for one particular crime family. And you think all that. And then you lie back down and you hear this commotion going on outside and hear a bit of movement in the house. But I think you're just sort of staying with your thoughts, and eventually you nod back off and sleep through till morning. Could you both give me a constitution roll, please?
Oh, yes. That's an extreme success.
Wow.
11 on a 60.
That's a fail. 71 on a 50.
71 on a 50. Well, your excellent constitution roll, Dom, means that you sleep completely soundly. Nothing stirs you in the night. You know, despite the things that have sort of somewhat discombobulated you in the evening. Maybe it's the amount of booze, maybe it's the good food, but you sleep better than you have done in weeks and wake up feeling very refreshed. Sharon, you have quite a disturbed night. You realise that your room is kind of, because it's near the stairs and it's above the family bathroom downstairs, you hear quite a lot of like coming and going. You hear some commotion in the street in the night. You're like a bang. You're not sure whether it's a gunshot or an explosion. You hear sirens and police running. And you hear some movement in the house. Sounds like some doors slamming, people coming and going. Mm-hmm. Some muttering in Italian downstairs. It is a bit disconcerting, but I think this is your first time away from home. I think maybe you just get up, lock your door, and check your door's locked, and climb back into bed and try and get back to sleep. And do eventually get back to sleep, but it wasn't a good night's sleep. So eventually, one way or another, you all wake up to the smell of coffee from downstairs and the sort of sound of bustle from the street. You can hear the sound of some perhaps house martins or swifts sort of squeaking as they wheel overhead between the rooftops. And in your own time, you make your way downstairs. When you get there, you find everyone sort of making themselves at home around the big table, helping themselves to coffee and pastries, some orange juice. And Don and Julia are sort of really touchy-feely, kind of all over each other as they're sort of, passing pastries to one another or reaching round and pouring coffee. And
I sneer.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? Young love.
It's lovely.
Oh, yes, lovely. Yes, how charming.
And Niccolo is currently nowhere to be seen. And nor are Barbara and Crystal. But you assume Niccolo's mother is there. She's not sat at the table. She's sat in a chair in the corner, quite an elderly woman, sort of a kind of placid look on her face. And she's just sort of nibbling on a pastry and sipping a glass of orange juice, but sort of doesn't appear to be eating very much.
Don't suppose there's any tea, is there? Oh, sorry, it's a silly question.
Oh, no, the Italians don't really do tea.
No.
And if they do, it's, well, it's not like you would expect. They're worse than the Americans for tea. I can tell you that. I'm speaking as an American. It's horrible stuff.
Yes. Yes. Sharon can't say anything to Don because he's just too good looking.
Oh, but the coffee's to die for. The coffee, Sharon, you must try the shop.
Well, I don't normally have a coffee unless it's an Irish coffee after a dinner, but I didn't sleep very well, so I think I better had to have a coffee, yeah.
Oh, did you hear that noise?
Well, bang. Yeah, I heard a bang. Did you hear that?
Yes.
And then shouting in the street. It was a bit, something was going on.
Gordon Bennett. Oh, I didn't hear a thing.
At that, Niccolo comes through the door and says, he overhears you and says, yes, I'm sorry, it does occasionally happen. I'm sorry it was right outside. This is very unusual. Please don't be alarmed. It's absolutely nothing to worry about. As I say, I can only apologize. It will not happen again. I can be sure of it. It was a random act of violence.
Oh.
Was anyone hurt?
Well, sadly, yes, I think someone was hurt.
Oh.
But as I say, you're very safe. This is confrontations between the fascists and the communists, the Red Brigade and the National Vanguard. They're not going to involve people like you who are not involved, and not people like me. It's really the security forces that potentially are going to suffer from all this.
Oh, I see.
Which is sad. I have, friends and relatives who work for the Polizia di Stato, but it's nothing to worry about. I tried to tell Barbara and Crystal this, but...
Are they coming down to join us soon?
No, they've left us.
Oh my word.
Gosh.
Oh, it wasn't because of me yesterday, was it? It was just an unfortunate coincidence that just as she spoke, I had a funny turn, you see.
No. It was no, of course not. It was I think Barbara was a bit alarmed by the noise last night, and
oh goodness me.
And the political situation in the city. Maybe she was not prepared for it, and understandably, she's very protective of her daughter Crystal.
Well, yes, quite, of course.
Yes, well, I can understand that.
So they caught. They left in the very early hours, and I think they're headed to the airport. They might even be on a plane by now. I'm sorry, it's sad, but we should forget it and carry on and put it behind us, because, as I say, we don't need to worry about this. And if they were going to be concerned, it's better they're not here. I'm happy that they're not here. It's not a problem for me. I'm sorry, but I have to tell you why they're gone.
Oh, it's just a shame, isn't it? It's a shame.
Yeah.
As Sharon says that, so because I'm a critic, I'm drawn by his performance, but then quickly I become bored. and I look immediately.
And you didn't understand it anyway.
And I look at exactly. It's barely inaudible, is it? But I turn to Julia to see her reaction to their departure. Do I glean any emotional response on her part?
From Julia?
Yes. Because she'd been having this complicated conversation with Crystal about something. And I've had this connection with the Tontu thing, which I'm profoundly moved by, but I'm going to, like a critic, I'm going to sit on that emotional response, pretend it means nothing to me, and look at what the audience is doing.
On first impression, she looks like she's sad about it.
Yeah.
Like anyone who doesn't look like she's overly sad.
No.
I mean, feel free to give me a psychology roll.
I'd like to try a psychology roll, I think.
Could I do a psychology on Niccolo?
Of course, yeah.
See how much I believe what he's telling us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did a very good performance, but yeah, I'm not really interested in the truth of whether that's good as a group for us to do that. 25 on a 60, it's a hard success.
A hard success. So, Julia, you think she's There's quite a lot going on. Because I think you can tell she's mainly really kind of blissed up by this trip.
I was going to say, she's in love.
She's in love.
She's there for the ride.
She's genuinely sad about these people leaving, but just because she feels bad that they were obviously alarmed about what happened, and that not due to any great bond that she's formed with this young lady.
Yeah, no kind of sense of relief or...
Absolutely not any relief.
No, interesting.
I mean, but potentially, I think she's sad, and perhaps that's a genuine sadness.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
But I don't think there's any alarm or any relief or anything.
I got a regular success on Niccolo, 51/70.
As far as you can tell, he's telling the truth, but you're not sure you'd be able to tell if he wasn't. Is that fair?
It was a good performance. Yeah?
Yeah, quite. It was. You get the feeling that.
It was either the truth or it was masterfully concealed.
Yeah. And he says, but we should have put that behind us, and if you're all ready, if you've had enough to eat, head to the kitchen and begin our first class.
How wonderful.
Avanti,
yeah.
Oh dear. Trouble on holiday, guys. Trouble on holiday.
I'm relieved that psychic woman's gone. Gave me the creeps.
Well, Barbara, glad she's out of the picture. She was a right old battle axe. She and I were going to clash soon, so that's good. Tearing up my card? Come on.
It's rude.
Very rude.
No decorum.
Put Crystal out of the picture, sowing seeds.
We'll probably see them passing in funeral garb on a barge later.
Cannot be as fast as... You have to bring people with you, you know?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And I think certainly the Communist Party in Bologna understand that, but for some, the Red Brigades, it's not enough, and it has caused a lot of violence, and I worry that things will get worse. But he sort of shakes it off and says, "But not this year. This, we are in a dangerous moment, but not dangerous for us. It's mainly..."
You know what they say, if you go forwards too quickly, you end up going backwards.
That's right. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, etc.
Exactly so.
How's the theatre doing?
Yes, well, the theatre in Bologna is doing well, but we have a fantastic film festival that has...
yes, of course.
I don't know if you want to film as much as you are into theatre, but...
Oh, I love to go, but it's not really my calling. It's not, there's something about the people in the theatre. There's something about the way they cross over. It's almost as if, do you know what the thing about the theatre goers, theatre practitioners? They're like, in our country, they're like rogues and vagabonds. They can meet at crossroads at midnight, and they can make deals with devils and fellow players, and there's a sort of kinship there that never goes out of fashion, never goes out of style. You don't have to have a 16mm camera to record the business, you see. You can just have a few boards and a bit of passion, and then suddenly the magic starts to happen. I know that these two know what I'm talking about, but of course we're just inured to it, we're so used to it, because of course, we didn't even have 68. That's the truth of it, isn't it? Isn't it? Don't you think, Robert? I mean, the spirit... I don't know about you, Sharon, but Stevenage, I can imagine. What would the university be near Stevenage?
Distant.
Oh, probably Cambridge is the nearest one, I would think.
Well, yes, exactly. Even in Cambridge, those students, they were not worked up in the same way that they were here. The passion wasn't the same. And that's, I think, because, you see, it doesn't go back... For us, the revolution was a long time ago. Won't be televised.
I saw an Italian play once. It was masks, you see. They didn't speak once.
How could you...
Didn't speak once. And how long it was? 25 minutes of that was the curtain call.
How could you know what was going on if they didn't say anything?
You got the sense of it. You got the sense of it with the movements and the looks. They do fantastic looks. But 25 minutes for a curtain call. I'm an old man. My hands sore. I couldn't bear it.
No, I can...
Marred the experience. I know it's continental, but come on.
Yes, I suppose we do things a bit differently here. Sharon,
It's like when Americans applaud at the cinema. Forgive me, friends here, but you must... Is it odd?
They ignore us.
They applaud in the cinema. The actors can't hear them. They know that, right? Don, do you know that?
Yeah. Well, why do you think I moved to England?
You couldn't stand the clapping.
Couldn't stand anything about America, if I'm honest.
Couldn't stand the clapping at the pictures. Well, don't go and see a play here, Don. You'll be exhausted.